Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com. Mike P. Kriston H. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.
What up, guys? It is Thursday, January 29th, live here on the Rundown Live, rundownlive.com. Mike McChesney, Kriston Harris, Open Lines Thursday,
Hey, what's
866-37 Truth. If you guys want to get into the convo and, talk about how Code Pink tried to arrest Kissinger today. And
it's about time somebody did.
Our buddy Derek Bros tried this about a year and a half ago. They stopped the Kissinger motorcade down in Houston, the Houston Freethinkers.
Yeah.
And that doesn't usually work out too good.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy that gave all the prominent Nazis and murderers jobs here in America, which led to the socialist system we have today. That's the magnificent hypocrisy behind it, the idiocracy.
This guy attends all these New World
Operation
Order meetings.
Paperclip, Project Paperclip.
If Kissinger's not there, then you can guarantee it's not New World Order. You know what I mean?
Well, he even has admitted it. He said it, he said it's time to bring in the New World Order. Did he not? And, he's getting old, and I think that in his age, he really wants to see it in his life.
He sounds evil when he talks. I mean, it really does. I'm just it gives me goosebumps. It freaks me out.
Yeah. And, he's a Freemason, 33rd degree. Illuminati. What do you expect?
Well, you're just racist, Kriston. That's all it is.
Yeah. Don't the facts don't matter.
But if you guys want to get in the convo, 866-37 Truth. I'm not sure what else we got. Apparently a pilot got locked out of the cockpit. That's always bad. But that's why you have two pilots, right, Kriston?
Right. Well, they're not going to need pilots pretty soon, Mike. We're going to have robot pilots like in Airplane, the blow up pilot that just pops out of nowhere and smiles and lands the plane for you. Yeah, that's what it's going to be, and they're not going to need humans for anything anymore.
Well, yeah, humans are useless. We don't even need them. What do we need humans for? Silly humans. But before we get into all this Kissinger and, if you hate Obama, you're racist kind of stuff we love, you should probably talk about the site real quick.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't had a chance to yet, make sure you guys head on down to therundownlive.com. There we have an abundance of information, new articles that Mike and I and others, activists around the globe, put up daily. Make sure you check it out. Share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, all those other awesome social media networks out there. Let your friends know the Rundown Live is where it's at. Let us know if there's something that we're not on that we should be. Also, guys, if you're interested in supporting the Rundown Live, there's a couple ways you can do it. There's no better way than checking out private internet access. It's a banner on our website that allows you to surf the internet anonymously. You can download, conversate, do cool things like avoid Reddit bans and video game bans. It's $39.95. Doesn't cover one, not two, but 5 computers, guys, for an entire year. And like I mentioned, and that supports us here. They take Bitcoin. If you got a gift card you still haven't used from Christmas, they'll take that even. They'll also take PayPal, many other things. Check them out. It's as important as antivirus and anti-spyware. Speaking of anti-spyware and antivirus, if you go to our website and you see the transhumanist machine and the ESET Nod 32 banner, click it. Get your 2015 antivirus and anti-spyware security.
Why you got to point out it's transhumanist machine? Why you got to point that out?
Yeah, well, it's like iRobot. It's kind of creepy, but it's cool at the same time. But, they're known to have the most false positives for those torrent browser users and those people that use the web. Check it out. Support us. It helps us out here. ESET Nod 32 antivirus. If you like to listen to us live, there's no better way to listen to the Rundown Live than the TuneIn Radio. Not only do you get the Rundown Live, you'll also get all the other awesome broadcasters here on Truth Frequency 90.7 Denver FM, TFR, our syndication. Thank you guys for following us on there. If you haven't yet, follow us on there on your tablet and on your cell phone. Another cool way to listen to Rundown Live, if you can't catch us live, you can download the Rundown Live app to your cell phone or tablet. That's available on our website as well. There's a banner there. You can get us on the Android platform for those Droid users, the iPhones platform for those iTunes users, Amazon.com, Windows platform, and just about any other platform. It's free. It allows you to listen to us at your convenience on your trip on your trip back from work, or if you want to catch us before you go to sleep. It's a great tool. You can also send us show tips straight from the app. The app is pretty neat, guys. Check it out. The Rundown Live app, it's free. We're also available on iTunes, so you can subscribe, downloads right to your PC. I also want to thank our syndication, FPRN, Radio, Conspiracy Wire, Wide Awake America, Liberty Talk, .fm, and Liberty Movement Radio, as well as Truth Frequency 90.7 FM Denver, tuning in live. Check us out. There's no better way to listen to the Rundown Live than in the chat. You can actually chat with Mike and I. That's therundownlive.com/live. Boy, that was a lot to say, Mike.
You got it all out, though. It's a lot of stuff. And, when I used to have to do that, I slack. But, you get it all in there. You do a good job, Kristan. So you got to do it. 866-37-TRUTH. 866-37-TRUTH if you guys want to get in the convo. And I do want to add our buddy and fellow broadcaster, Popeye, who was just hanging out recently on TFR. And now we're going to force him to come hang out with us on the Rundown Live. You know how we do.
Hey, what's going on, Popeye?
What up, guys?
How's Florida?
It's a little chilly down here, but it's not as cold as the rest of the country.
It's global warming, guys. Global warming.
I couldn't believe I saw that Kansas City was 75 degrees yesterday in the middle of January. That's crazy.
75 degrees in the middle of January? Yeah, they're not messing with the weather.
Yeah, I guess it's the end of January, but
Yeah, because that's cow farts that did that.
Well, right.
Because cow farts in an SUV and some hairspray in the 80s, Aquanet in the 80s, for all the 80s people. Yeah, Aquanet, cow farts, and SUVs caused that, right? It has nothing to do with geoengineering, weather manipulation. They trade weather on the stock exchange. What?
Yeah, I'm really not sure anymore, Popeye. I know they made a big deal about all that snow and nothing really even happened with that. And then all of a sudden, a day later, I'm seeing 80 degrees in January. The next thing is going to be the tornadoes. I mean,
right?
That's the only likely scenario that could come next.
They're going to start shutting down the cities now when there's tornadoes. Wait till they have the smart cars, guys, that drive you anywhere. It's going to be like Demolition Man. You'll get in a car and it'll drive you anywhere in town. But when there's a storm, right, you're going to be trapped in your house and you won't be able to use your car because they're going to shut them off remotely because it's for your safety. Don't mind the tornado coming to your house. You can't get away. The car's going to be shut off. That's the way it's going to end up.
Do you know how bad that's going to be, dude? Think about that. Like they want to control speed, like for whatever reason. What happens if they decide to just automatically start slowing cars down? You know how bad that is to go from like 70 to 50? There's going to be an accident. That's not going to there's no way that they're going to pull that off without screwing it up. Seriously. I mean, they can't run they can't launch a website to buy health insurance because half the website is missing when they launch it. It does, the section to actually receive payments isn't there. But hey, you better buy your insurance or else you're going to get fined for it. But you can't buy it because the pay now button doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like these are the people that are doing this.
And there goes your tax return, right? People are finding that out right now.
All I got to say is I would, yeah. But do you really want them running things? I mean, look, if we had remote or flying cars, rather, you would need to have them somewhat remotely controlled, not maybe remotely controlled, but maybe self-guided, where there was a GPS grid that they could follow, and they would have to be like, you really couldn't let the average person drive a hover car, right? You think about that. So, like, in that instance, okay, fine.
Don't
you'd have
drunk
to,
and hover. People are getting drunk and hovering.
Just asking for it. Popeye, you're so right. I cannot believe that you said that, but it's true. I couldn't trust anybody in a damn hover car.
well, people can't handle 4 tires on the ground. Seriously, they can't handle driving from here to Walmart and back without rolling their cars over.
Let me tell you, some people have made me very nervous.
Angry women.
Yeah, I've yet
Angry women. Angry women drivers are emotional, can be the worst. And I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you, dude, like, think about it. Like, we bitched that we don't have hover cars, but, like, you would need that type of system. You would need some sort of, like, self-guided GPS compute. Like, you need a computer in the car to guide itself via some grid that could be made to allow the vehicle to guide itself. It doesn't have to have a strict track or anything, but would have to be able to guide itself because people can't drive
like a flight pattern.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to just invest in teleportation and I'm going to take the safe route. I don't want to hover around. I'll just get in a pod, beam
because
someplace.
dematerializing yourself on a molecular level is way safer than, well, maybe.
Totally, guys.
Much easier.
It's safer, much easier.
Right, you'll end up like President Scroob in Spaceballs. You come back and your ass is on backwards.
Well, you just wear your pants backwards then.
It's on backwards. I remember that. It was a great part of the movie.
I do want to add another call on with Popeye, Kristan, and myself. I believe we have Jimmy Q on with us. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How about you?
Oh, as good as we can be in Freedom USA over here hanging out. What'd you have on your mind tonight?
Well, I wanted to talk to you guys about 9/11 actually, and I have another sort of a viewpoint than you guys, I think. So I thought I could share some stuff with you. I have queued up some links that I could share in your chat and stuff.
Yeah, like, well, what kind of stuff do you have on your mind particularly? Is it like Building 7 or Free Fall Speed, or was there no planes, Jimmy? What are we talking about here?
Nice, different stuff that I think shows that it was not a conspiracy actually. So, I have one link that I can share in your chat, and just to start off with, that sort of goes against the normal conspiracy theory that it's Israel and Mossad and stuff like that, people like that committed any crime related to 9/11. It says that that Israel or Mossad came to the U.S. to Washington to warn the USA of a big coming attack from Al Qaeda. So I'll start off with that one in your chat, and then I can show you some other stuff that are more basic to the main.
Without going into all the links, Jimmy, because honestly, we don't really have a lot of time for that on the air. What is the gist of your point? Just kind of give us an idea of, what are you really telling us? Are you saying that Israel wasn't involved in 9/11? Are you saying that Al Qaeda actually attacked it, and the rumors of the 12 Saudi hijackers, that's all legitimate, and we found passports on the ground
15
in New
15.
York? Yeah, excuse me, 15, not 12, even more. How do we?
Yeah, I have
and building number 7 was the worst structural failure in history as well, and it's the only system to never have all black boxes returned, or it's also the only disaster where planes have evaporated, including the one that hit the Pentagon. And we spoke with Scott Welter on that, and he investigated that, and I'm telling you, there was some weird things there. I don't buy the official story, and I think 88% of America
I just want to get the gist of it, Jimmy, because we don't have a lot of time.
But I'm interested, though.
We don't have a lot of time to go in and click on all the links and stuff, so just kind of give us what's your take on 9/11?
What about the nanothermite? Hold
on. I want to hear Jimmy, what Jimmy thinks. I don't want to hear, about the links or anything. I want to hear, Jimmy, what's your opinion about 9/11?
Sure. Well, I can show Kristan later. He's in my group, actually. I have a group about 9/11, so I can show him all the links later if he wants. He's in there. I don't know if he knows, but he's in my Facebook group. And I showed just one link right now that showed you that in 2012, Saudi Arabia, they confirmed that 50.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
No, I'm here.
Okay, there he is.
You're cutting out, Jimmy. That's not on our end.
Okay. No, but I said that Saudi Arabia in 2012 confirmed that the 15 suspected hijackers that were suspected to be Saudi, that they actually were from Saudi Arabia and that they actually died on 9/11. So they were not, they didn't survive. They were never alive after 9/11. They died on 9/11. And then that only leaves 4 people left.
Yeah, but yet you're to buy that argument. That means you're appealing. You're engaging in a logical fallacy. You're appealing to the authority of the Saudi government, which are known thugs and liars. And yes, some of them did actually, in fact, survive because they interviewed some of them.
No, they have never been seen. If you can show me that, I would appreciate it.
Well, Jimmy, are you saying that the Saudis did it? I guess I'm just trying to figure out.
I don't totally disagree that Saudi had involvement.
I'm trying to get Jimmy.
You know?
What do you think, Jimmy?
Sure, there is probably some kind of involvement of Saudi Arabia actually, because in California there was 1 or 2 people from Saudi Arabia that greeted 2 of the hijackers there in Saudi Arabia. They took care of them. They gave them housing and even money actually. So yeah, there's a lot of indications that Saudi Arabia was involved in this. I mean, in Florida, there was a man who lived in a I don't know what you call it, but they have like a fenced neighborhood there in Florida. You know, with the security and stuff.
Sure, one of those gated communities where the elite live, right? Yeah, sure, I've seen them. They have a whole island. They have it called Star Island. Popeye, you're in Florida. You should know the name of that place.
Yeah, I was my old Coast Guard base was actually right across the water from it by about 300-400 feet.
Cool, because that was a very freaky thing there in Florida, because they had that gated community, and there have control of every car that comes into that gated community. And Mohammed Atta was there, and he visited a Saudi Arabia, a family from Saudi Arabia, a rich family there. And I think it was right after or right before 9/11. That whole family with that had like a very nice cars and everything. They left the house. They left everything without a word or anything. They just left everything there. And they had met with Mohammed Atta previously. So,
do you think that the rumors of Al Qaeda, is any of that true, or is this like a strictly Saudi attack? Like, what is your opinion that happened here?
Well, and who financed it, in your opinion? Because that's the people really behind it, the people who have provided the money for the operation.
I can get to that exactly, Christian, because I had here from the Mossad trial, I had here a link that showed that Ramzi bin al-Shib, if you know who that man is. Do you know him?
No, never heard of it.
Me neither.
Ramzi bin al-Shib, he's a very, very important person here. He was one of the key players. He knew the hijackers over in Hamburg, in Germany. And he wanted to become a hijacker. So he tried to apply for a visa, and they have that in the court exhibits. For the prosecution here in the Mossad trial, and he couldn't get in. He couldn't get a visa to get into the US. So instead, what he did was that he wired a lot of money to al-Shehi and other hijackers. So he wired money, for example, in the form of $1,000 checks over to the US, and he continued to do that throughout. So he gave them money, and he got them from other people, of course. It wasn't his money. He was a young guy, and he had met with Osama bin Laden as He was a known Al Qaeda member. And he wired the money to these guys over in the U.S. So yeah, there's a definite
what was the
money
goal,
connection.
Jimmy?
Well, hold up.
Go ahead,
You guys keep rattling off questions, but like I want to go back something. I said to you, like there's mainstream proof like that that there's some of the hijackers are alive. The BBC even, I went and found you a BBC link. You can see that he was interviewed by journalists, one of the hijackers.
BBC,
okay,
right.
And the BBC admits that some of the people that they blamed were still alive. Okay,
No,
so that's not
they haven't.
it's not a conspiracy theory. That's a pejorative. That's a label that's completely misused. One, okay. Even if you buy the official story, it's still a conspiracy. The definition of conspiracy is literally the definition: two or more people getting together to do something bad. Therefore, even if you buy the official version that a bunch of putzes from Afghanistan in a cave with their friend, their fearless leader, Cobra Commander, and his laptop, his Dell laptop from 2000, and his satellite phone, okay, and his dial-up connection masterminded this attack, which was able to outwit the military on numerous occasions, I may add, okay? It's impossible.
But CNN reporters
Wait,
found
hold on,
them,
hold
right?
on. Wait,
CNN
listen to me.
reporters
Listen to me.
found them.
Yeah, but listen. Well, like Cooper said, but getting bogged down in the, well, such and such a terrorist did this or such and such a terrorist did that.
Doesn't even matter.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's like Fletcher Prouty said about the JFK assassination. It's window dressing. You're getting involved in the minutia of the live action play. Take a step back and look at some of the evidence. How about J. Michael Springman, the guy who issued visas to some of these terrorists, okay, these supposed terrorists, when he in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, he told his supervisors, hey, these guys can't have these visas. They're on watch lists. And he was told to issue them anyway. And he couldn't say anything until he had left the State Department. He's on record. I mean, there's plenty of evidence out there. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact that somebody got together and did something bad on 9/11. The conspiracy theory that the government has, that it was a bunch of Muslims that are pissed off because we're American and we like freedom and we put boots on the ground in Saudi Arabia and in the first Gulf War and in Kuwait and everything else, it's insane. It's insane. It doesn't serve any purpose for a bunch of ragtag Muslims to attack the United States knowing they're going to get the response that they got. It makes no sense. It doesn't. The only people it serves are individuals in the military-industrial complex. And I agree with you that Israel didn't do 9/11 by itself. That itself is disinfo. It's put out there to muddy the waters. So no, Israel didn't pull off 9/11 itself, but Mossad was involved at a certain level. 9/11 was such a huge event, it wasn't one group. It had to be a collaboration. When you study it and you research it, you'll see groups like the Pakistani ISI, Jordanian intelligence, the CIA, the FBI, Mossad, all involved. All of them. Saudi intelligence, all involved. Okay, they're all in bed together. It makes no sense to think. I'm not bashing you. I mean, you bring some valid points to the table. You bring some valid questions, but I'm just rebutting you. The evidence is out there. Go research it. I agree that some of the stuff that's out there does completely muddy the waters, and you're right, dude. And that stuff is put out there to get people to not look at this with any semblance of logic. It gets people to go, oh, these 9/11 conspiracy retards, and then that's it. They've already formulated an opinion.
You know?
Well, right, exactly. So you bring up some interesting points, but yes, there is tons of information out there to point to the fact that the official version of events is a lie. I mean, and they've had to admit that some of the stuff that they initially said was not true. Things have gotten changed. I mean, the 9/11 Commission report, if you believe the official government story, how come they just omitted Building 7? It just didn't happen. It's not there. Like, it's not like they said,
or what about the Doomsday plane?
Well, all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they just left out. I mean, it's just, and
Well,
I don't
for explosives.
Well, I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear national security, none of that. If you have to hide something, okay, then you're not being honest by definition. So the official version does fall apart very quickly. It's unfortunate, believe me. I wish it weren't the case that this monstrosity existed, but it does, and it's better to know about it. Like, I'd rather know that I have cancer so I can fight it with cannabis oil and beat it than if I didn't know that I had a disease and I just dropped dead one day because it consumed me from the inside out. And that's what's going on with this country and this whole planet.
Papa, I think we should be clear too, because just so people know, we've never claimed that Israel was behind 9/11, and I've always said that
but
I don't
Zionist
know.
money may have been.
Well, I've always claimed we really don't know.
We don't
I mean,
know.
It's global government, and we know the elite is behind global government, but they live in a borderless society, where their wealth is their reality. The world is a lot smaller than it used to be. So these guys are living it up, and they're definitely pulling the strings. That's for sure. And he brought up a lot of good points. I'm not going to say that Saudi Arabia wasn't behind it. I'm not going to say that the hijackers weren't Saudi Arabian, because they were. And now the 28 pages, I'm sure this coincides with that. And those leaked 28 pages that come out will, I'm sure, say that Saudi Arabia was behind it. And they'll, try to close some of these doors that are still open, but I don't know if that's good enough, guys. The passports, the free fall speed, jet fuel melting steel beams, it's just not good enough for me.
How about all the firsts? The first time an airplane disappeared, first time black boxes went missing. How do passports survive conveniently when the whole plane incinerates? That's like trying to say this is the direction we want you to look, and this is who it probably isn't.
I just wanted to get Jimmy's point of view, but we're about to go to break here. 3 short minutes, we'll be back. I'm sure if Popeye wants to hang out, he's more than welcome. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Bill Gates and his fear of artificial intelligence, Kristan.
Oh, no. He's starting to get scared of transhumanism now?
He must have figured something out.
Uh-oh. Somebody smarter than him.
866-37-TRUTH. Call in during the break. We'll be watching the phone lines, guys. Thanks to Jimmy for the call.
Org.
The brother's gonna work it out.
Staunching Tyranny with Jim and Jeff Staunch.
Monday on Truth Frequency Radio. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com. Mike P. Kriston H. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.
The rundown.
866-37-TRUTH. If you guys want to get into this convo, hanging out with our fellow broadcaster and friend Popeye, fellow TFR broadcaster.
Call the Rundown Live, guys. It's Milwaukee and it's cold.
Yes.
Warming.
I do want to bring up, before we go into the next topic, our friend from TFR, Chris Gio, was on Coast to Coast last night, and he did an excellent job, and he definitely plugged TFR. I don't know if you got a chance to see that, Popeye.
Yes, I saw that Chris was on Coast to Coast last night. He always does a good job when he goes on Coast to Coast.
It's always good to hear him name drop TFR, and it's like, that's such an awesome thing. There's so many awesome broadcasters on TFR, man.
Yeah, the network's really cool, man. It's like we often say it's like a big family, and I know that might sound like hyperbole to people, but you guys get it because you've witnessed how it is.
We got adopted.
Yeah, we interact with everyone. Like, we tag, even if it's something as stupid as tagging each other in posts on Facebook, we create this camaraderie and this family, feeling amongst, our fellow hosts and activists and stuff. And that helps fuel each other and keep each other strong doing what we do. Because this stuff can get you down sometimes, and each of us goes through our own things, right? Like, for instance, when I lost my wife a few months back, right? These guys helped out, and they reached out to me, and they, without me even asking, they just did what they felt they could do to be there for me and help me out with like covering my show, or Chris Chris didn't worry. He was like, don't worry about, taking a month off or 2 months off. You do what you got to do. It's that type of camaraderie that is going to get us through and see all of us through to the other side. And that also shows the listeners, it's like leading by example. And then they'll do that too. And then just by doing that, the world becomes a better place, because if more and more people treated each other like that and actually worked together and weren't divided, things would be much better. So we try to lead by example here at TFR.
Well, and what do we always see? Conquer and divide, right?
Jeez, I just
divide
heard. I
and
feel like
conquer.
I just went to church there, Popeye.
Kristan was swept up in the words.
Kristan was like, testify.
Hallelujah.
It must have been that upbringing,
right?
Kristan. I'm not sure.
No, but there's a lot of truth in it. It is a lot like church when you hang out with people who are understanding of what's going on. And we don't all agree. We got the caller from Sweden, which was a great call. We don't all agree on how 9/11 happened. The one thing most people can agree on, that we don't buy the official story, and that, the official story was, garbage per se, so it's pretty interesting.
None of us know. How can anybody know unless you have some kind of a national security clearance? You don't know what happened. I mean, let's just face it. And we're all speculating, but what we can use is common sense, and what Popeye loves to use, logic. And it doesn't add up, does it, Popeye?
No, dude, come on. I mean, we were tearing it apart during the break. Just look at any of the story. Just look, the Pentagon, okay? It's a perfect example. And when I say plane in the following context, just, picture me going air quotes, doing quotes with my fingers as I say plane, okay?
Gotcha.
It was probably a cruise missile. But how does a plane, quote unquote, get through 3 separate rings of defense, which are not run by the same individuals? So you have 3 separate rings, and each ring of defense is controlled by a different group. It's done that way for a reason. It's called redundancy. If one fails, you still have 2 others. So in order to get all 3 to fail, you'd have to have all 3 taken offline at the same time. Now, the only person that could do that would be somebody that knew about them and had the power to take them offline, like a stand-down order. What did Norman Mineta say when they were in the bunker? He said that while they were in the bunker, the presidential bunker with Cheney,
Plane is 10 miles out or whatever.
Young man would come in and say, sir, the plane is 40 miles out. Sir, the plane is 30 miles out. Sir, the plane is 20 miles out. And when it got to, sir, the plane is 10 miles out, he said, sir, do the orders still stand? And he said, Cheney whipped his neck around, and I'm quoting him. Cheney whipped his neck around and looked at him and said, of course the orders still stand. Have you heard anything to the contrary? What orders do you think Dick Cheney was talking about?
Stand down.
Bingo. They weren't shoot down orders. They were stand down orders. Okay. And how does the plane, what are the chances that the plane hits the exact spot on the Pentagon that was built to withstand an impact like that? The exact same spot, I may add, that Rumsfeld told all those investigators that were, they had information about the missing $3 trillion that they announced.
The budget analyst office, it was.
That whole group was right there. But I'm sure that's a coincidence, right? Because Al Qaeda was like, "Hey, we'll help the Pentagon cover up."
How does the plane hit the Pentagon budget analyst office? I don't. It's bizarre.
I want somebody to run the numbers. I want somebody who does math and knows statistics and stuff how to do that. Please run the numbers on that one and tell me realistically what are the chances of that. And then, I don't even have to run them to know. Come on, really? Like, was Al Qaeda like, hey, we'll hit it in the strongest spot so we only kill a few people, and we'll make sure the few people we kill are the people that know where all the bodies are buried financially. We'll do them a favor. So they have $3 billion extra to come engage war on us. What?
Well, then they realized at 5 o'clock that they needed to take down Building 7 because there must have been some kind of evidence there, too.
Bin Laden's like, you didn't take down Building 7. The demo crew is like, they're running around blowing.
That's terrible.
That's the narrative that the government would have you believe, dude. Come on.
So hilarious. But that's, you're exactly right. I see it all the time, whether I'm on social media or watching propaganda news on TV. That is the narrative. You're supposed to believe that there's terrorists everywhere and they hate us for our freedom. And if you don't submit to propaganda, that you are the enemy and, Muslims are coming to kill you. And that is America right now.
Seriously, everybody's afraid, dude. I mean, since 9/11 of this year, they've been amping it up. That's when they started putting out the John the Beetle beheading videos. Oh, please. Really?
I don't even know about those. I mean,
I know, dude.
Propaganda.
I know.
It's really nothing.
They had video experts, Mike, that were like, they look fake. Like, okay. And people are still like, did you see the beheading video? Maybe they did behead the guys and kill them. Okay. But they probably didn't do it then and there. I mean, why? Let me ask you this. What sense does it make to go to cut someone's head off as a terrorist? Remember, the definition of being a terrorist is to instill terror in someone, right? And the terrorist fades to black on their beheading video at the part where they're cutting the guy's head off, which technically is the most terrifying part of a beheading video, correct?
Right. And, I got to give Joe Biggs.
I think everyone's making their own videos.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Where he goes to Smedley. What you got? You got the microwave going there, bro, or what?
Oh man, you're gonna fry your food. That's bad for you.
To head off to work, and was just thinking about you guys, and good to hear Pop. Share a little in common, losing our wives. But anyway, I just heard you guys talking about Building 7 going down at 5 o'clock on September 11th. And you know what was in that building? It was all a bunch of records on Prescott Bush and all the Schroeder Bank financing and funding Hitler.
Well, we know that they funded Hitler. That's for sure. The Bush family definitely. They had all their. Didn't they have all their furniture and stuff repoed because they funded Hitler?
Oh yeah, but I understand. I remember looking this up, researching it one time. That Prescott Bush, all the congressional minutes were housed in that building. That might be just hearsay, I don't know, but I understand that there are a lot of FBI records and court records and congressional records and stuff like that stored in that building. So no wonder they wanted to take it down. So it's like inviting John P. O'Neill to go have a breakfast on the 38th floor or whatever it was at World Trade Center too, taking him out after he was telling everybody he was going to blow their cover.
Well, wasn't the FBI and CIA run out of that building as well? So, all the evidence.
Building 7 was the largest CIA I don't want to say headquarters, but CIA building, whatever you want to call it,
on record
outside of Langley. It was like the second largest one right there in New York. And he's correct. There was an assload of paperwork and files in there, including Enron, all the stuff like Ken Lay and all that stuff, all the evidence about what they were doing and that they were doing brownouts on purpose just to make more money and charge people more money. And there really wasn't this shortage of energy when they were doing it. Well, all that stuff was in there. I mean, there was tons and tons of evidence, and who knows what else was hidden in there that we don't know about. And it was conveniently destroyed. I mean, you don't have to worry about shredding anything. You just drop a building on top of itself. But the building, somebody in the comment actually made a good statement. They said that Building 7 fell out of loneliness. It was upset that the other two towers went down.
He lost his big brothers, right?
Right. So it just decided to collapse on itself because buildings are sentient, right?
They have sympathy, right?
It defies logic, dude. When you think about it,
the air was safe to breathe too, guys. Remember that lie? Remember the stores?
Yeah, thank you, Christy
right
Todd
away?
Whitman. Thank you, thank you, former governor of New Jersey, turned into head of the EPA for the Bush
Barry
administration.
Jennings? He didn't exist, right?
Yeah, none of
Cops
them.
have cancer. All the dogs from 9/11 are dead. Firefighters have cancer. Everyone's dying.
I didn't want to beat
Parasites
this.
did
I
it.
didn't want to beat this thing into the ground, but we got to do what we got to do.
We haven't had a good 9/11 session.
You're
in about
right.
a
You're
2
right.
years, Mike.
Well, I don't know about that. We talk about
We
it.
had Richard Gage on last year.
We talk facts, and we have to, and sometimes we just throw out all the things we know. And I mean, Popeye, he's a great guy to have on talking about 9/11.
Jimmy Q got it.
He's known about it for years. Smedley, anything else before we let you go, man?
No, other than Donna Summer got killed, by 9/11. I think too. She was right there breathing all that crap in within, a block away from ground zero. So that just to throw that little tidbit in there, she was always kind of fun to listen to. But yeah, it was good talking to you guys. Have a good night. I'm sure I'll talk to you later.
Thanks a lot, Smedley.
What's the number? We should give it out again. 866-37-TRUTH, guys. 866-37-TRUTH. Locally, 414-455-4333. Call the Rundown live.
Yeah, great call, Smedley. Just to kind of wrap up the 9/11 stuff, because this is what we do around here. But what else we've been talking about? I think we mentioned Gates the other day. I don't remember what exactly we were talking about. If it was the GMO mosquitoes or something. But now, Bill Gates has
probably Common Core.
Oh yeah, probably education. Now Bill Gates has come out and joined Stephen Hawking and saying that he's worried about super intelligence and the idea that artificial intelligence will become too smart for its own good.
Well, and I agree with this. There's no doubt about this. Artificial intelligence, and even more so. Man merged with artificial intelligence might be the new superhuman. We saw it when 2012 somebody was walking around with a fake heart. It wasn't even pumping blood. They said he didn't even have a pulse. I don't know how that works. The blood needs to flow, but they're already way ahead on us on this. People don't know about it. It's an interesting topic.
Well, this is a guy we talk about a lot that we don't trust, and now he's coming out publicly and saying, I don't understand why people are not concerned about this. So I would take this as a warning, wouldn't you?
I would think so. I think if Bill Gates is worried, somebody who believes that machines would dominate and obviously take over humanity, they would see us as a disease because we are destructive, Mike. Our nature isn't peaceful. We're not very charitable anymore. You have a world based on fear and tyranny, and this fear is used in a pyramid scam, whether it's economic, philosophical, religious. Everything is a pyramid scam, and the lie is different on every level of knowledge. And there are no truths in the world we live in today anymore. Even the history is all false, And you're right, Mike. It's absolutely ridiculous. This huge human error that's on the map. These machines would very quickly decide to probably terminate us.
Well, you've heard of Elon Musk and their developments. They said that developing artificial intelligence was summoning the demon, in quotes.
Dude, all I gotta say is all you gotta do is watch any Terminator flick. Okay, preferably I know people hate the fourth one, the newest one with Christian Bale. They're like, oh, it sucks. Whatever, just watch it. You'll get an idea of what will happen in like not like the just Sarah Connor storyline, but because it's more dystopic. You see mankind getting rounded up, right? That would go watch that. That's what would happen if you give robots sentient intelligence.
The Matrix would be a reality. They need to keep us alive
eventually
for power and energy because we are the ultimate computers. That's what they say. The brain is the ultimate computer.
But this isn't a new thought, by the way.
Yeah,
any science fiction writer worth his weight in salt has written about these ideas. Like, people have logically thought about this for a very long time. Going back to like the 1800s when science fiction first came out, and they were like, eventually robots would be like, humans are the problem. And they would. I'm not saying humans are the problem, but that's the way the robot would look at it.
Right. They're not going to be saying, oh, well, this human's good for now.
Because they don't understand.
Right.
We're the largest threat to them.
Because they're not human, so they don't have they don't understand the human condition. They don't understand the human soul. There's more to humans than just the biological computer that we are. There's also that factor, and that's something that can't be replicated even with AI. It does not matter that artificial intelligence is not. Yeah, you can say, well, it's a sentient being. It thinks. I don't care if it thinks and it knows that it's there and it's aware of itself, like self-awareness. It doesn't have a soul, and that's the difference. It doesn't understand humans on that level, and without that connection, it's like a missing piece of the puzzle. It's not completed, and that's why robots would be strictly logic.
Well,
And
that's
I mean,
the next-
I'm not talking like logic like I use. I'm talking like cold ass logic. Like humans are a parasite and they got to go.
Well, that's the next civil rights movement, Popeye. Do robots have the same rights as humans? And how do we deal with transhumanists?
Isn't that the plot of movies? But isn't that the plot of movies already?
Star Trek, going back into the 80s and 90s, and even before that, with the Daleks, remember, exterminate. Doctor Who, and that was way back into black and white TV, the 50s, so it keeps going back from there, I'm sure.
I'm telling you, look, this idea is not new. The idea that building robots, and giving them sentient intelligence, eventually they might think humans are a problem because we're not evolved enough yet. It's not that humans can evolve. See, the robots wouldn't look at it like that. This is the problem. The robot would look at it with the logic of, well, the human's not evolved. It's a parasite. It needs to go. It wouldn't understand the human condition of we need to evolve. We need to enlighten. We're going through some of these experiences to enlighten ourselves. Some of it has been, the robot wouldn't say, well, this small group of individuals dumb down the rest of humanity, so I should go after them and free humanity, unless maybe you get some, unless you're in some dream world or the plot of some, some new science fiction film that has.
We are.
Well, Poppy. Hey, hold on. I got a solution here, Popeye.
Hey, Poppy.
Popeye, I got a solution here. We give all the robots emotions. They get depressed, and then they commit suicide. Problem solved.
Just give them Prozac.
Robot oil, cans of oil. We'd spike with Prozac, yeah.
Right, Prozac oil. Just take this. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
I did want to read one more quote from this story because he was asked a few questions, I guess, and Gates said this in quotes. First, the machines will do a lot of jobs for us and not be super intelligent. That should be positive if we manage it well. After a few decades, though, intelligence is strong and it will be a concern.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is really a bad idea.
So he's talking like 20 years from now, which would be what? 2035? Singularity was predicted for what? 2045? That's only 10 years away from, the 2045 prediction.
Bad idea. Just bad idea all around, homie. Again, go watch Terminator 4 with Christian Bale. All right, just watch the movie for 2 hours.
Can you even believe we're talking about? Can you even believe that this is real?
Unfortunately, yes. When I was a kid, I was always like, man, can you imagine if the government could actually build a Terminator robot? And
you always talk like Arnold Schwarzenegger if they do, just so people are sympathetic towards him. I guarantee you. Just like the what is that rover machine? The Knightscope 5 looks like R2D2. So kids go up to him and be like, "Hi, R2D2, how's it going, man?" They're gonna make it sympathetic. It's gonna be like, "Hey, what's up, Arnold?"
Right, and then all of a sudden the thing transforms and a saw comes out and just starts taking kids' heads off. Are you still sympathetic to the robot now, ladies and gentlemen?
Right.
Look at iRobot.
There was an article in the news not too long ago that said robots are breaking the law and police don't know what to do about it. And it was very interesting. It was about programmed robots that were ordering things on the underbelly of the web and sending things to random people's homes, sometimes combs or knockoff purses, but sometimes narcotics. And the question is it the robot breaking the law? And it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, but so what would they do though? Would they hold?
They had no idea.
Would they hold the robot responsible, or would they hold the person who owned the robot responsible? Because then they could say, well, the robot is technically your property, and even if it's acting out on its own, it's your responsibility.
Would it be the manufacturer's responsibility? Because it's
where was the robot doing it? Like, where was it sitting in a lab somewhere? How was it getting on the internet and doing it to begin with?
I have no idea.
I'm sure it's a script
very
probably that someone wrote. I know. Me and Kriston talked about this before, and it's like, it doesn't that come down to the person who designed the script, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, who wrote that? What they would say is, in this instance, because robots aren't sentient beings, and they don't have their own rights or whatever. They're just technically they're machines, which is what they are.
Well, and people are starting to get intimate with them and things too, and bizarre things. Did you see those articles? That's all over the internet. What the hell is with that?
Oh, dude, I'm surprised there isn't a robotic, like a full-on robotic cyborg sex toy already.
It's ridiculous. It's
like
it's
I fully expect before they perfect any type of robotic worker or robotic anything.
Howard Stern here.
I completely expect the fully operational robotic sex toy to lead to all these other revolutions, because that'll be that's where the focus is. Everybody's so
it'll be build a wife instead of build a bear, right?
No, not even. Well, yeah, but not even build a wife. Just build a build a
vagina,
build a vag. I mean, this is ridiculous, dude. And it's just, to me, it's another way to get people to
disgusting.
Well, it's just another way to get people to separate themselves from each other. Like they're so like what happens? You're going to start to get people that are repulsed by other humans. Oh, humans gross me out. I can only be around synthetic robots.
You're so trendy.
Yeah,
I want to hang out with that person. Who was that, Popeye?
Your own DNA. What?
I got to hang out with whoever that was. They just sound really trendy.
They're so trendy and cool.
I mean, robots deserve rights.
Ugh.
Maybe we should suspend.
Let's do a protest. I think we should protest, guys.
We need to suspend the Declaration of Independence. It's for our safety.
You'll see an appeal to emotion, dude. Oh, save C-3PO. He needs rights. Freedom of speech for robots. You just want. I mean, they already cover stuff like that when they make the robot who's fighting in a Disney movie for robot rights.
They're gonna have some athlete who lost a limb that replaced it with some cyborg leg and is now performing well in sports again.
This is just a bunch of racist talk. That's all. You guys are just racists against robots.
Wait till these robots get into sports.
Robot racism.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe I'm allowing
you're a cyborg. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just robot bashing at its finest.
Or maybe if you don't have an RFID,
unacceptable.
There's something wrong with you. That's unacceptable. Yeah.
I hope you know free speech does not protect you from robot bashing.
Mike's gonna get emails. You guys are gonna get emails.
I'm offended.
There's gonna be synthetic emails sent from auto email accounts. They're gonna be like, this auto robot email account is offended. And we're gonna get
I'm highly offended. No, seriously, I'm not offended at all. But one more story before we're out of here. Popeye, hang out with us for one more second here because I want to hear what you think. I know you don't really much care for the foosball, but the Secret Service is searching through social media, trying to discern real and bogus threats for the Super Bowl. So just so you know, if you're making your Super Bowl prediction and your hashtag and Patriots Seahawks, the Secret Service is watching you.
Well, in France, they raided an 8-year-old's home because an 8-year-old posted something, vulgar on some social media network. Because 8-year-olds are very serious when they make their threats. So,
also, by the way, the See Something, Say Something campaign has been revived.
What? No way.
Let's have a clap for the.
Where? Who's reviving this?
I see something, and I'll see something and say something. I see our government
doing something.
Yes, I see our government has been subverted by a bunch of psychopaths who kill, imprison, and torture innocent men, women, and children. The children part's really the effed up part, but hey, who am I, right? I mean, torture's cool. Yay, 61% of this country is behind torture, douchebags. So I'm seeing something and saying something. So there you have it.
Popeye, I appreciate you hanging out with us today. We're just out of time.
Awesome to have you on again, Popeye.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure you guys hang out in the chat with Popeye on TFR. His show is always going on earlier in the week and earlier in the day. So Popeye and Truth Frequency, good friends. Make sure you guys check it out. And if you didn't see Chris Geo on Coast to Coast, I'm sure you can find that from last night. Other than that, we're going to be hanging out tomorrow doing a Freedom Friday session, 420, episode 420 tomorrow. And the final Friday of January.
Definitely, guys. Make sure you guys tune in, hang out with the Rundown Live. It's going to be a good night. give us your calls. Maybe we can get Jay Blaze on or somebody.
Yeah, I didn't even ask him yet.
We should find out.
We got to call Corey, and let's just have a good Friday hanging out on Rundown
Let's see what
Live.
the Waking Up Wisconsin nerds are up to.
rundownlive.com/live. You guys hang out for Phoenix Rising Radio if you're listening on Truth Frequency. Awesome show he does.
Tune into the rundownlive.com. Thanks, Denver, Milwaukee. Stay classy.
Thanks, Jimmy, Smedley, and Popeye for hanging out with us, guys. We'll see you next week on Truth Frequency. Otherwise, you can come hang out with us at the rundownlive.com.
Adam.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth.